And we're gonna hop in. It's my favorite topic, which is retention, and we're gonna come at it from a really positive angle, which is the really 3 tips to retrieve a lost customer. And we're calling them lost. That may not be true. Every customer might have a different journey back to your shop. So, but what we mean by lost, like when I use that word, it's just a customer that the frequency of their visits to their shop has gone way down, or you haven't seen them in a certain amount of time. So just quickly going over 3 tips to do that. And I'm going to take us through a few slides here. This can go, I'm probably going to take 15 to 20 minutes, and definitely leave it for questions at the end. So I will go through it a little bit quickly on the front side, and then if there's questions on the back side, we'll cover that. So what we've seen with these 3 tips and how they work, it's that customers forget. That's kind of at the core of what this is about. It could be that they were stolen. That is a case, right, where maybe a competitor came in with something different, a different value. Maybe they moved. There are other reasons that customers don't come back. And in this case, though, we're really talking about perhaps where the tips are going to work is the customers that have forgotten something. Either they've forgotten the great experience they had, they forgot where you were, they forgot that there's a lot of meanings in the forget. But we think it's critical, part of being a brand that stays front and center over and over and over again. That is a part of each of these tips, kind of covers that thought process. And in addition to that, it seems as if, right, if we're going to get a customer to respond and to take an action, one of their core questions is, what's in it for me? So if it's a quick way to come back to your shop and get something done, if it's maybe some added value they hadn't seen anywhere else, there's those types of things that work. And it could be, and I think this is going to be a great start, it could just be that you were the one that were timely and came back to their attention again when they needed something, or there seemed to be a crisis, or, oh yeah, vehicle maintenance, that's important to me. So let's get going on this. I think the ultimate tip to good retention, so building loyalty with customers, is remembering this. It's to consider the industry average, right? That we should assume that if we have a first-time customer, we're more likely to not see them again. And that you could say, well, that's pessimistic, Jeremy. Let's not talk about that. I actually view that as with great optimism. If we keep that reality check in mind, it will keep us focused on customer service first, and that we will be truly invested in earning their business again. And the reason I use the word invested there is because it seems as if, and I'm in the same boat, right, as we try to grow our company, a lot of us focus on, how do I get that new customer, and what does that cost me, right? Is it a billboard ad? Is it my Google pay-per-click ad? Is it I've got something running on Facebook that I paid for? We definitely understand that concept that to get a new customer, we must invest. But sometimes I think it gets lost in the shuffle of things. To get someone to return, and we want to earn their loyalty, we have to apply the same. We have to invest in that. We have to invest in being focused on them, whether it's just the best service you can do the day of service. It wouldn't matter what you did on the follow-up, they're coming back. Or on the flip side, if the service was so bad, it wouldn't matter how great your reminders and the tips I'm going to cover today are, they're not coming back. So this remains at the core of the word retention to me. It's investing in your customer, whether it's through top-notch customer service of the day, or maybe it is, again, investing in them, kind of building into your business plan. I'm going to invest money in my customers so that they return. And that would be the same way as that I'm going to invest in these prospects driving around out there, hoping they come try my shop at the first time. That's a key concept. Let's not use that to be successful in our retention and retrieving lost customers. I think it starts before they leave. So I didn't put that in the tips here, but you could talk about that great customer retention or retrieving lost customers. That all happens before they leave your shop. But in this case, we're assuming that they've left, and let's go over 3 tips now to see how we can get them back. The first one, because of where we're all sitting in today's market, right, we do have a lack of time. So everyone's overworked, we're short on staff, there's a labor crunch, there's all kinds of things going on in our industry. So one of the answers, let's start here, tip number 1, it's use automation. And we've got in here, so let me pull up some screenshots here. we have a, let's cover this one, a We Miss You template to help you with this. So this is part of our CRM. We have a lot of workflows down here on the left, but this is one of those workflows in our CRM functionality. So when we say one of those, right, there's a couple others you could do. We've got a slow day trigger you could fire. We could help you set that up, or you just do it in the dashboard. That's where you can essentially filter customers you haven't seen in a while, maybe even based on a dollar range that you could both text and email them to prompt them to come back. You could do a specials blast occasionally that, again, reached a certain filtered segment of your customer base. We usually recommend setting that. So if I was to look at one of these, let's go back here, some of these filters that are really helpful are, so, and again, we've got a great support team here. So if some of this just seems overwhelming at first, we've got some nice walkthrough support tickets you can create, walkthrough support tickets, where you could say, hey, I just want to do one of these guys. Set it up, guys. Do it all for me. We can help you with that. But this would be a great one. Customers last visit more than, you might put in here 9 months, and last visit less than, say, 18 months. So that would be a great filter setting, right? Maybe you hadn't seen a customer 9 months, but they'd been there within 18 or maybe 24. So you weren't just reaching people too far gone, right? You hadn't seen them in a while. It's going to be a relatively concise, and you could add some dollar range, but I recommend starting about there. If you were going to pursue using, say, a specials blast, you could create some type of special promotion, maybe not so much related to lost customer, so to speak, or we miss you, but just something you're throwing out there. Maybe it's a AC check. Summer's around the corner, and it goes to that type of customer. So that's a great way. The We Miss You one is great, and email and apps are part of every channel we create. So if you're in here and this is a workflow that you have on, We Miss You, and you've got it on, and it's sending 9 months after you haven't seen a customer at 2 o'clock, that actually is happening on 3 different channels automatically based on your customer settings. So, we throw in some email modules. It's got a text message. You can further filter those. And in addition, you can put in down here a push notification. So at a minimum, it's those 2, but really, if you're not considering text and automated texting, it gets both the highest read and delivery rate, and I could have added in here, I just want to, was response rate. So especially if it's a little bit of a conversational tone than it is, just something so automated. So, hey, this is Jeremy from Joe's Shop. Haven't seen you in a while. How's it been? Right? Or just checking in on your vehicle, want to make sure everything's okay. And those are some ways that if you do it right, and our system does, we're filtering that. We're not sending too many texts. You can put filters in there. You can cap it. You can say don't send it if they've received one within 60 days. So there's a lot of ways that this automation is not just creating a whole bunch of people opting out. That we've got statistics that in our automated texting, you're getting less than 1% will opt out. So but yet 93% of them are reading that text. So using automation is key, especially if you just don't have time. Now, for some shops, though, automation is not the key, and you've got a little, let's say 10 minutes a day, just 10 extra minutes a day. Let's go over that. And that's tip 2, the personal touch. So we also have a tool to help you with that. It is what we call, we have under the marketing tab, we have a task called No Recent Visits. You can create this to essentially create a task. So instead of sending what we just talked about, right, what we were just looking at was a 3-channel template that sent it automatically, this one is a little different. It creates a task for you in our portal. So if you have this open all day and you've clicked on tasks down here in the bottom tab, right, I'm in our 2-way portal here. So rather than it automatically sending, it pulls up the customers on any given day. So, here's like service overdue. Nothing was sent in this case. If, thank a new customer, so thanks. So these are just different tasks related to these different things. This is my favorite one. Customers not visited in 9 months. Let's click on that. And don't be too concerned about an F or a C or a B, whatever it is. Yes, we do rank, we kind of give you guys a snapshot of the customer retention process. So you can, kind of quickly at first glance say, well, why are they an F? Well, quickly you can kind of see it's not so bad. except that, this customer hasn't done anything. They haven't engaged in any of the things you have for them to engage in. So we're just essentially showing you a quick scorecard to know how they're at, because perhaps, and again, this is why back to what we're talking about, personal touch, this is where it's a manual thing. You just didn't want it to be automated. You wanted to have maybe a custom phone script. Maybe you were going to make a phone call. And maybe you didn't want all the text and emails going to everybody. You wanted to review it first before you send. So back to this, you can now navigate inside the task. And this has already been done. Tammy at this shop had already sent this. So this was a manual send, and it's easy, right? You just go send script, send text message, choose the number, and it pre-populates the message that is ready to go. Click send. I won't do it, but that's the case of that. And then you can even go mark as completed, and you're only going to get a few of these a day, maybe. So you can see how that quite quickly could maybe take you 5 to 10 minutes, knock out these tasks, right? Here's all your tasks. Just, do it on the inside, send the text, email, make the phone call, mark as complete, done. And that is a great way for people that just aren't too comfortable with automated texting. It's a great kind of go-between, or in between. You still could send the text. It's just completely up to you. Now, the third, I can't miss this. How cool would this be? And maybe you already have this at your shop. Rather than, this is that differentiation. So you wanted to be in front of the customer again, maybe in a different way your competitors are not doing. Perhaps what it is a really a gentle or a kind handwritten note. And that could be just something simple. And this scenario I have here was after a visit, after just a first-time visit. Hey, thanks for giving us a try. But you can imagine how flexible this is. Maybe just have a quick postcard template, great. And if you want one of these, we'll help you set one up. We've got templates and a lot of options for creating postcards, and it will help you get your QR codes on there for your app so that there's something they can do. They can take action if they wanted to. But at the same time, it's personal. You actually wrote. They say for mail that arrives with handwriting, it's the improving is 2 to 3 times better in terms of getting your brand and the memory of who you were in front of them. And I like to think, well, if you've got people that can do this for you on the side, what would this take? 20 minutes a day, and you could be mailing out 10, 20, 30 handwritten notes. And this works. This works to put your brand in front of your let's say old or not lost customer, but just tell them that you'd love to see them come back, right? So given that touch is key. I'm going to hop into the third tip. Is, there are just some of us that respond very well to value. And a lot, like if you're a customer and you have your customer cap on and you're syncing as a customer, that's how we respond, right? So we've got a tool to help you with that in those automations that we were just talking about, both the task and the template that's sent automatically. So whether you wanted it to be manual, whether you wanted it to be automated, either way, you can turn on a We Miss You coupon. So this would be included, right? Something of this nature would be included with the email that sends. And that could be anything you want. It's coming, you'd love to see you again, got a $5 Starbucks card or $20 off any service, as in this case. And I would say use that a little bit liberally, right? Because if you think about it, what are you willing to spend to get a new customer? A lot of people will land on $30 to $50 to $70 just to get a new car, a new customer in their bay. So if you think about that, a returning customer is 67% more likely to spend at least twice as much. It's really that returning customer, if we invested in them, that we would see a higher return rate on. So if we can get them to return, they will spend more statistically. Returning customers spend more than first-time customers. And if you follow some additional stats, and I love this side of it, you only have to invest 1/6 in a returning customer of what you did in a new. So if you were okay with, let's say, $80 in hard cost, right, in actual advertising dollars to get a new customer to come in, divide that by 6, what is that, 12, 14, somewhere in that range. And that could be in hard cost, $14. You could make it look like $40 off, something over 200. You can see how there's room in there if we do believe back to that kind of what we originally started with, investing. We start there and go, wait a minute, to get that return customer, let's invest in them just as much as we would be willing to invest in a new customer. So I do hope that these 3 tips help. We could go through it a bit more. There could be a lot to cover, and I will end it here on just kind of at least my presentation side of the training, but I will open it up for questions, anyone that wants to jump in. And of course, we got a lot of ways for you guys to reach us. You can create a support ticket, book a training, send us a quick text or an email. We are here to help. Any questions for those that joined us?